I genuinely just wanted to make a gay bar today. So here we are, we're gonna build a pride slash rainbow themed nightclub in The Sims 4. This is going to be kind of a longer speed build, so go ahead, grab a snack, sit down, relax, and we're just gonna chat. So I've had an idea for an LGBTQ plus club or a bar for a pretty long time, but I didn't really know how to execute that idea until I came up with this rooftop nightclub that would be also kind of like sky inspired. Originally the idea was that downstairs I'm going to have the day sky inspired color scheme and then upstairs the night sky. In practice it didn't really turn out the way I thought it's going to, but nonetheless I'm still really pleasantly surprised that I managed to pull off my vision. I think that my favorite part about this build is the dance floor, because the dance floor is just like rainbow everywhere and it's so pretty. And also I love the sunken in bar that you're gonna see later, because I made the floor look a little bit like a galaxy. Ooh, I'm really excited for you to see that. It's a pretty modern build, which I'm not gonna lie, it is not really my strong suit. I do struggle quite a bit with building modern stuff, but I have been challenging myself to really go out of my comfort zone and build not only more community lots, but also more modern stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't exactly sure if I'm liking the way this is turning out. I wasn't a fan of the colors I've chosen since I wanted it to be very pastel, and I did choose pastel colors also on the outside at first, but nothing really seems to work. And then I looked at some different inspiration pictures for nightclubs and I realized that most of them have very dark color scheme on the outside, which is why at some point you're gonna see that I will in fact change the colors to be way darker, and then on the inside it's kind of like a mix of both darker colors and pastels. Another idea that I had was that since the building is in this kind of L shape, in the middle we have this just green patch of grass, and this was the moment where it hit me that what if we made this patch of grass filled with colorful flowers and we make it into a rainbow flag. I spent quite a bit trying to look for flowers that would have enough color swatches to make an entire rainbow, but in the end I chose the ones from, I believe, a romantic garden. And this is one of those trust the process things, because at the beginning it may not look as good, but the final product truly I am so pleased with. I've never even thought to do something like this before, but as I was adding more and more bushes, I felt like the end result is going to be worth it. It was a little bit tedious to put all of those flowers, but the most important thing that I tried to incorporate a lot throughout the whole build was those cubes from Luxury Party. Now, we know that Luxury Party is a little bit of a meme in the Sims community. You never use Luxury Party unironically, but I was on a mission. I was on a mission to use the Luxury Party stuff, specifically those cubes. Therefore, you will notice them basically everywhere, both on the outside and inside. And I have to say that I don't hate them anymore as much as I used to. I think my only issue with those cubes is that you can't size them down for some reason. If you could, that would be such a cool table to add in a lot of public lots like this. But because the cube is so big, you can't size it down or anything, it's difficult to work around it. I built this entire thing on stream. It actually took me 1/4 stream. I started building this at the very end of one stream, and then it took me 2 whole other streams to actually furnish this. Furnishing was definitely the longest part about this whole thing. I was putting in a lot of details and I was just brainstorming different ideas with you guys in the chat. You guys really helped to make this place feel super unique, but also really fun. I was constantly saying as we were furnishing this that, oh my god, like I don't really go to nightclubs, but I would totally go to this one because it just looks so cool. I would just go there for the experience. Another thing that I tried to add a lot in this lot was just a ton of different spots that you can woohoo in. So we have the observatory, we have the hot tub, a photo booth, a closet, just anything you could possibly ask for in a nightclub, I guess. Jokes aside, I just figured that it would be a fun place if you're looking for like a one-night stand with your Sims, or maybe it's just gonna work well in the storyline that you're creating for your Sims. Like let's say your Sim decided to go to this club for the first time after coming out, and then they met this mysterious Sim. They hooked up once and now they are on a mission to find them again. I'm just spitting out ideas from the top of my head. But I actually, I don't mind this. I feel like I could make something like this in my own private save. And the reason why I even wanted to make this into a nightclub is because I figured that since all of my builds in the past month or so were kind of on theme, so we had a winter theme, then we had a Christmas theme, so now we should have something New Year's Eve themed. And a lot of people go to spend the New Year's Eve in a club, so now you have a place to take your Sims to. And then you will not believe what is my next build that we're gonna have next week. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions, right? And a lot of the times that New Year's resolution is that they wanna attend the gym regularly. I think you know where this is going. But don't worry, after that I'm gonna try to make more random stuff, but I am on a mission to just in general work on my building skills because I feel like I'm not good enough, I feel like there's so much I need to improve, especially when it comes to building community lots and also modern stuff. These are just not something that I feel comfortable at. That's why I'm going out of my way to build this nightclub. Could I have built it better? It probably, for sure. But honestly, looking at me and my skills right now, I still feel pretty proud of it. When it comes to the floor plan, we have two separate spaces. As I said, the downstairs is the bar, lounge area, and also the dance floor. And then when you go upstairs, you have what I would call a hangout spot. So let's say you just want to meet new people, chill out with them and talk. You can do it upstairs. There are a lot of different mini games over there, the photo booth. I simply wanted to make this space as usable as possible because let's be honest, nightclubs in The Sims 4 are a little boring. If I were to go out with my Sims, I would prefer to go out to a bar than a nightclub. Now, since this is a build that I am building to celebrate the new year, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what are the plans for the next year. For me as a content creator, I definitely want to simultaneously focus a lot on this YouTube channel and also on my Twitch because I've been having so much fun on Twitch. It's such a cool experience playing just favorite games with you guys live and getting that live feedback. Right now, I would say that my YouTube channel is mostly Sims builds, where Twitch is more gameplay. But ideally this year, I would love to be able to do both on both platforms. So I want to incorporate more building streams on Twitch, but also I would like to maybe this year start some sort of let's play, like a legacy challenge perhaps here. I'm still just trying to figure out what is going to work well for me, but I do at heart consider myself to be more of a gameplay type of simmer than a builder, but I still love building, Building is just different than gameplay. I'd say that the gameplay for me just has the perfect amount of chaos that I like in The Sims and the fact that you can tell different stories, where build mode is way more chill, and also you could probably get a little bit more creative in terms of creating some sort of art, because I do think that architecture and design, all of that is a form of art, where gameplay feels more like creating creating a story, so being creative just in a different way. Am I making sense? Let's imagine this. I would consider someone who prefers building in The Sims 4 as like an artist, for example, someone who paints, where someone who prefers gameplay is more like a writer, and they write stories and characters. So I guess in this metaphor, I consider myself more as a writer than a painter. Though I do like painting a little bit. But also making these Sims building videos definitely has improved my skills a ton. I feel much more confident already, even though I have been only doing that for a couple of months. But I am excited to start something gameplay wise. Do you guys know any fun legacy challenges? Because there are so many and I can't decide, because I already have a classic legacy challenge going on Twitch. So I would like on YouTube to be maybe more themed legacy challenge. I definitely have seen Sims in Bloom one that I was interested in. I know that Not So Berry is super popular, so I need to figure out which one I would like to do. I'm kind of glad that this year is coming to an end, I'm not gonna lie, and I am pretty excited to see what the future has in store for me. As I said, I have quite a few plans, and not just for my content creation career, but also just for myself as a person. I've mentioned this in one of my previous videos that I want to start working a bit more on rediscovering and reconnecting with my hobbies. And I actually made myself an entire list of hobbies. I can even read to you what I have in here. So I split the hobbies into 3 categories because I've seen it being done online as well. And I thought that this could be a fun thing I could try for myself. So the first category is for stuff to just like keep moving your body. And here I have written down stuff like dancing, stretching, running, going on walks. The second category is hobbies to just let me be creative. I really would want to go back to crocheting. I have learned crocheting a couple years ago, and then I just kind of abandoned that hobby because I couldn't really afford to buy yarn. But now I feel like I would be able to invest in that a little bit, especially because every single time that I see beautiful little plushies that people crochet on Pinterest, I'm like, man, I want to be able to crochet plushies like that too. On top of that, it would be awesome to learn knitting. Again, I did learn knitting once in elementary school, but that was so long ago that I wouldn't consider myself a person who really knows how to do it. I think I would basically need to learn that skill from scratch. I also have a sewing machine, and I want to learn how to properly make clothes from scratch. I don't think I would be able to do it this year, but it is a goal of mine to be able to do it just in general. Also, you're now going to notice a huge change in the way that the speed build is recorded, and the reason for that is that I just simply forgot to pull out the second OBS for this, and therefore you're going to notice the probably a little bit annoying Christmas lights above me, and also you may be seeing just some floating emojis here and there. I really am sorry about that. I realized that I wasn't recording on my second OBS literally at the very end of that stream, so I hope you don't mind. I hope you're gonna be able to ignore it. Next time, I promise you, that's not going to be an issue anymore. And just in case if it is going to be a little bit too much to watch, you can still just listen to the video in the background, and I will show you around the whole build just calmly and peacefully at the very end. And as of right now, going back to me talking about sewing, I do know how to use the sewing machine just in general, and I mostly use my sewing machine to just do slight adjustment in clothes. Like, for example, a lot of pants are way too long on me because I am only 159 centimeters tall, so I have learned to just take in the leg and make it a bit shorter. Another thing is that I want to get into doing my nails, and not really because I want to have my nails done, but rather because I really love nail art. I have so many nail art inspirations that at some point I figured, you know, what if I just simply do that myself? And therefore for Christmas I got myself a kit to make nails at home, and I have been trying this out. I've so far made my nails only once. I will not be showing them up close what they look like because I'm not gonna lie, they didn't turn out as good as I was hoping they would. And my nail polish for sure chipped a little bit, especially at like the very edge of the nail. So I have learned what caused that and how to prevent it in the future. But I tried to do the magnetic nail polish where basically it kind of shines differently in different lights. Again, that didn't work out as well as I was hoping it would. I know now what was the reason for that. You know, it's fine. I feel like considering that it was my first time doing my nails at home, I actually feel like it looks okay. I've been educating myself also quite a bit on how to do the nails at home safely, as you are dealing with the UV lights and also pretty intense cosmetics that could be pretty dangerous for your skin. Like the nail polish, right? You need to wipe it off from your skin immediately if you somehow get it on. I gotta say, I've never had nails done, so this is my first time experiencing it and it feels kind of fun. I've always used to use only like clear nail polishes or the ones that are, I guess, nourishing your nail. And if I had some sort of color, it would only last for like a day or two because I would just use the regular nail polish. And as for other hobbies, for example, I always used to love singing. Some of you know that I also enjoy reading. I would love to be able to try pottery and also soap making, candle making, all these things just to experience it. I just really want to know how you make that. And the last category of hobbies are the ones that are supposed to, I guess, advance my knowledge, because one of my goals in life in general is to just keep learning. I am a very growth focused type of person. I am simply just trying my best every single day, and I thought that it would be lovely if I had some sort of hobby that helps me to just keep learning new things. And for example, one of those things is that I really want to get into reading more non-fiction books. The only non-fiction books that I've read in the past are self-help books, but I'm definitely way past the self-help books anymore. They don't hit as well as they hit when I first read them. Now I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, like I already know it. So I want to get into books that they just simply teach me something. For example, I am super interested in philosophy, psychology, sociology, these types of topics. I could ramble about them for days and days on end, and I figured that actually why not get even more educated, even though I already know quite a bit because I have had, for example, psychology classes in university, but I want to keep learning. And I think this is the beauty of learning, is that you're always able to learn something new. And as an example, I got myself my first non-fiction book about linguistics, and it is called World Slut by Amanda Montell. If you read non-fiction books, then I assume you might have heard about it because I'm pretty sure this book is kind of popular. It's a book essentially breaking down why more feminine way of speaking is usually looked down upon, and this is something that I'm really interested in. I'm really passionate about feminism, and I want to educate myself even more to be able to understand where a lot of problems come from. And this book just in general has really good opinions, and people who I watch on YouTube, some like booktubers, also really recommended this book, so I figured why not? Let's just get it and educate myself. Also in that knowledge category, I actually wrote down baking and cooking more new recipes because I love both cooking and baking, but I gotta say, I don't bake enough to consider myself a baker, and I really want to change that. You know, when I was younger, I actually wanted to have my own bakery. I wanted to have a bakery mixed with a cafe, but well, that clearly didn't happen. However, I can still just bake. And I feel like trying out new recipes in a way or another does expand your knowledge, because you just simply learn new recipes, learn how to do stuff in a bit different way than you did before. Baking just brings me joy. Specifically baking cinnamon rolls. I hate to be this person, but I truly do make the best cinnamon rolls in the entire world. I'm not even bragging. I mean, no, I am bragging, but it's like a humble brag, you know? And it's not just me saying that, because every single person that has tasted my cinnamon rolls always say, wow, these are actually the best cinnamon rolls that I've ever tasted in my life. Heck, I even remember my best friend here in real life. She said that her coworker brought in cinnamon rolls and they were super amazing. But then she reflected, but you know what? They were still not as good as yours. If I were to rate them, yours would be at a 10 out of 10 and her would be just like 8.5 out of 10. It's good, but not as good as yours. Speaking of like baking and content creation, my goal for 2025 is to make at least the one baking stream. I literally already know what I want to bake on that stream. I have a recipe prepared and I will do it, I promise. It's just that right now it's not a possibility for me, because I can really only make a baking stream when I'm gonna be alone, because obviously I don't want to block anyone from my house, from the kitchen, and them not being able to use it for a couple of hours. So we're just gonna have to wait for like, I don't know, probably a couple of months before I'm gonna be able to make a baking stream, but it will happen. And lastly, from like hobbies, I also written down that I want to do Wordle and Connections a lot, which are 2 New York Times games if you haven't heard about them before. Honestly, they just help you with expanding your vocabulary and, well, specifically Wordle, because Connections is a bit difficult. I would say that Connections is a very Americanized game. If you don't know American references, you're just not gonna understand what is going on, which is what happens to me most of the time, as I am not American and I'm looking for a connection between those words and I do not understand. And then I just give up and see that, oh, the connection was that, I don't know, these are American football players. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know that? And of course, my biggest hobby in life is reading books, so I'm just gonna continue doing that. But I was thinking that maybe to make more friends, I could join some sort of book club. And this is why I wanted to ask you guys, do you know any online book clubs? Because I have been trying to do some research on which ones I could join. And first of all, the ones that are in my city are only for elders. So that is not an option. I really would want to spend more time with people my age, so people in their late 20s. But I don't know if there are spaces like this. That's why I feel like since I have this platform where I can reach more people on Earth, then I just want to ask you guys, do you know any book clubs for like people in their late 20s? I would appreciate it. For context, I love fantasy books and romantasy as well, which is a romance fantasy. I would really appreciate it. Because, for example, I yesterday sat down actually to find some book clubs and I found a few, but I noticed that there is this problem that a lot of them are very America centered. Therefore, whenever they're having their book club meetings, it is happening at like 5 or 7 p.m. And you know, I'm from Europe, so that is like 3 a.m. for me. I'm not gonna be waking up at 3 a.m. for a book club meeting. But I truly want to be able to make new friends, and I figured that maybe I can just start slow by just doing the thing that I already do. It's just that I could try to do it with other people. And you know, since we're on the topic of meeting new friends, being a person in the late 20s, I have a question. How do you make new friends when you're in your late 20s? That's a serious question. How does one do that? I may or may not be very desperate. I think that an important context over here is that I come from like a medium-sized city, but also there's just not really anything to do here. The city is way more focused for spending your retirement rather than to actually go out and make new friends. There are hardly any clubs for some hobbies and activities here. And if you go, for example, to attend some sort of sewing classes, you bet that it's literally only going to be old people. It really is so difficult to make new friends unless you're meeting new people at work. But since my job is this, then I don't really have a way to meet new people. And you know, I guess the last update that I have to share is not really hobby related, but it literally just happened yesterday. So I wanted to brag because you can usually see right next to that IKEA shelf that I have behind me that there used to be 2 framed posters kind of attached to it, and they were just staying there until my dad finally hangs them up. And guess what he did yesterday? He finally hung them up. So they are over here on this wall right behind the little chair that I have, and finally my office is completed. I love the way it looks. I feel like this space truly feels like me. It's very cozy, and the 2 posters that I've hung up are actually these frogs. Maybe I'm gonna put a picture on screen so that you can see. It's very goofy, but I love it. I love goofy pictures and posters like this because it just adds a little bit of personality to your place. It kind of shows that you're not taking everything too seriously. And these froggy posters are just perfect. And now we can finally go back to the build where we are working, I believe, on one of the last rooms, which is this big game room. We have a ping pong table, the closet. I even put vending machines in case you would like to grab a snack. You also have a photo booth and the foosball table. So there is just a ton of different activities. I especially love that little star area around the ping pong table. I feel like if that was a real life place, then that would be the Instagram spot. You know, there's sometimes spots like this where you just know that people would come in to take pictures. Yeah, that would definitely be the one. I tried to put a lot of fairy lights and also those star thingies on the floor. I also found the star lights, I believe, from movie Hangout. I never used them, and yet they fit so perfectly there. If I were to choose which area I like better, downstairs or upstairs, I don't know if I would be able to choose because I love both of them. Maybe I like a little bit of the downstairs better since the colors are a little bit brighter, and then upstairs obviously is way more dark. Everything is basically black with pink accent colors. But at the same time, I do love that star area. It's just so amazing. I've never done anything like that, so I'm not exactly sure. But I think that if I were to come in here with my Sims, I probably would use the upstairs more than downstairs. I feel like the downstairs would be like, oh yeah, we can go and dance and then grab a drink. And then yeah, let's go upstairs to actually do something fun. There's also the outdoorsy balcony area where you can play cards, I believe, or Don't Wake the Llama. And also there are just some chairs. So, you know, if you would like your Sims to have a very romantic date on the rooftop with the sunset or the starry night, whatever you choose, you definitely could do it in there. I feel like it would look so good. And again, I do apologize that you have to suffer through those lights above me and the floating emojis. I felt so bad when I realized that I wasn't recording this, but you know, lesson learned. Now I am trying my best to always remember to record stuff that I want to later turn into speed builds. But also considering how long this speed build is, I wouldn't actually be surprised if no one was actively watching it, but rather listening to it in the background. To be honest, I do that too, so there is absolutely no judgment here. I'm just being realistic, you know. I know that a lot of people prefer to watch videos kind of in the background to have a little bit of background noise, which I feel like speed builds are perfect for it because you're literally just chatting. I'm just chatting about my life. I'm talking about my hobbies, my plans for the next year, so it's perfect. And now we are finished with the speed build, so let me properly show you around without the annoying lights and go through the whole build. As you can see, this is what the place looks like when it's already nighttime. There is a ton of pink lights, the flower bed. Oh, wait, I hate the camera in the apartment. The rainbow flower bed in the middle, cubes from luxury party. They actually look really cool here. So let's go ahead and show you what we have downstairs. As you can see, have changed a lot of the lights and I made it very, very pink. We have that sunken in bar area. One of my favorite spots. I especially love this galaxy floor we have here. There is a ton of pride flags and also the tables where you can sit at, and also a lounge area where you can just take your drink and sit with your friends under, I actually don't know what this is called in English, but I never really use it, and I thought that this can nicely separate the areas and make it look a bit more cozy. And I guess the main part of this build is the dance floor, which this is what it looks like. I am obsessed with it. Very sky themed, as you can see. And when you go upstairs, this is what that fun zone looks like, I guess. We have vending machines, the ping pong table, foosball, bubble blower, more bathrooms, and the karaoke machine. So I feel like truly there is just so much to do on this lot. I don't know, I guess visually I like the downstairs a bit better, but I'm not gonna lie, I think that upstairs is way more useful. If you would like to download this lot, it is called Rainbow Sky and my username is katodeling. I did use basically all packs that I've had because I didn't really want to limit myself, but the next build that I'm going to make is actually base game. I want to wish you guys the best of the best wishes for this upcoming year, and if you have any resolutions that you would like to share, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all next week.